How are you today?
Good.
Good. I'm glad we could take an opportunity to sit down and talk about Lulu. So I recently did some reading assessments on her this past week, and we looked at her phonemic awareness, her phonics ability, fluency, and her comprehension. Basically, phonemic awareness is her verbal ability to pick out and distinguish between different sounds of words. Her phonics is her ability to write down the words. Fluency is just her pronouncing the words correctly and smoothly reading through different passages. And her comprehension is how well she remembers what she read and how she can apply that to other reading and answering questions about different types of reading. She knows her syllables really well. I can tell she's excited to learn. She's a really great student, but when she gets frustrated, you can tell. When she doesn't get a concept, she gets a little upset, a little emotional, and it's hard for her to finish the task if she doesn't understand it. So that's been something that we've been working on together. And I noticed that she can't remember things when she reads stuff because she's so focused on trying to decode the word that she doesn't comprehend what she's reading. I had her read a passage about monkeys, and she couldn't retell me what she had just read. And it was a pretty small passage, about like 2 paragraphs. So that stood out to me because, comprehension is one of the most important things in reading and its fluency.
So, how would you recommend that she works towards better comprehension and understanding of everything?
Well, lately in class, I've been having her generate questions in her reading notebook. So when she's reading a text, she'll write down questions that would go with the text to make sure after every little bit she's reading, she remembers what she just read and kind of highlights the key points in each passage that she reads. And then it's kind of cool because she can go back to her reading journal and remember what she read if she forgot what that passage was about. So it's kind of cool. She can answer the questions too in there. So she's been doing that every time she reads a passage individually or if we have time as a class as well. Something else I've noticed Lulu having a hard time with is her phonemic awareness, specifically with rhyming words. She gets confused on what rhyming means. So if I say what rhymes with cat, she wouldn't say like hat. She would say like ball of yarn or like yarn because she thinks that rhyming words are words that have to do with one another, not that sound like each other or have the same ending. That has to do with her phonemic awareness as well, which like I said earlier, is her understanding of the different sounds of words. So as a class, we've been working on our rhyming, doing little activities, reading different passages, and coming up with rhyming words as a class. So another thing we've been working on with Lulu is her phonemic awareness, specifically phoneme isolation, which is breaking up the word into parts, so beginning, middle, and end of a word. So I've been having her use this phonemic isolation chart so she can separate the different parts of the word and see which words have similar sounds and have similar beginning, middles, and ends to kind of create that relationship between words. So I've been having her do that a couple times a week on her own. So I've noticed that Lulu is very outgoing and fun and bubbly in class. Is she like that at home as well?
Oh, she's an animal.
That's what I figured. She seems like she has like a lot of energy. So I thought Reader's Theater would be a great option for her to help her with her fluency, which is, the way her sentences flow as she reads them and the way she pronounces her words. It's a great way for her to practice that without even realizing it because it's fun and it's something she can do with her friends. So we've been doing that in class a few times a year, but if it's something she really likes, there's actually a club that meets after school for Reader's Theater, and I know she already stays after school for VIK since you have to work a little bit later. So, that's an option to look into as well. She could just join the club, and that way she is working on her fluency quite a few times a week in a fun way.
So, what would you recommend I do at home to help her through this process?
Well, there's a lot of stuff you can do at home. You can help her build her vocabulary by reading more advanced books with her. You can read them out loud to her. That way, if she comes to a word she doesn't know, you're the one reading, and then she has exposure to that word, and you can pronounce it correctly and kind of explain the meaning with her.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe we just need to step up the level of the books that she's currently reading to a little bit higher level.
Yeah, definitely. That'll help her get that exposure to those words. And I can also give you some word sort activities that I have right here. She does them in class all the time. Um, and, if she does them at home, she can have more exposure to that. She just would separate the words that are similar to one another. That way she knows that she can recognize similar words. So, an example would be like the words like sad, gloomy, depressed. That would all go in one category because they're all similar type words. And then the other words would be like happy, cheerful, joyful. So she would put those in a different category because they all are similar. So these words will be all mixed up, and then she has to separate them into their categories. That way she knows that, okay, these have similar meanings. So that will help her with her vocabulary as well, and will also help her with her comprehension as she's reading, so she understands the words.
So, do you think it'd be good to pick a book that piques her interest to keep her more involved in the book, to pay attention more? I don't know if you're familiar with the book Five Little Monkeys Jumping on a Bed, but I feel like because she has an interest in that type of thing, that her being more involved in the book could help her stay focused.
Oh, definitely. I was going to mention that. So lately, when I've been reading with her one on one, or even in small groups, I'll make sure to pick books that the kids like or something they're interested in. I know one thing Lulu really likes is animal books. So that's why I've been picking a lot of like captions and stories about animals. So yeah, I guess that book would work. That would be relatable for her, pique her interest, and she already kind of knows about the topic. Did you have any other questions for me today?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. You have a good rest of your afternoon. I'll see you, Lulu, in class tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.